Good morning, afternoon, and evening, everyone, and welcome to our second session of our first day of Artlogic Connect 2024. My name is John Duff, and I'm the Director of Marketing here at Artlogic, and we are absolutely thrilled to have you here. We've had over 3,000 registrations for Connect so far, and we have more than 600 signups for this particular skills session. Over the next 3 days, Connect is all about a space where the art world can come together, spark fresh ideas, and hopefully shape what's next to come, especially when we look at 2025. There's over 12 panels with 40 speakers, so if you haven't signed up for some of the other sessions coming up, there's more than enough time to do that. Today's skill session is focused on time-saving tricks for gallery registrars within the Artlogic platform. For those who already use Artlogic, we hope this is an insightful look at some new workflows and some things you didn't know you could do. But for those who are new to Artlogic, we're a platform that's about helping transform the art world, and we've been doing that for the last 30 years, since 1994. So far, we partnered with over 5,000 art businesses, and today we have more than 12,000 users across our platform. And we empower galleries, artists, and collectors to streamline their operations, their sales, and their marketing all into one place so they can save time, hopefully make some more sales, and ultimately focus on what matters the most, which is the art and artists. Before we begin, I have a few housekeeping items I have to go through. We don't have a Q&A section, but if you do have any questions, we have a whole team here at Artlogic that'll be more than happy to answer your questions. So do get in touch. You can get in touch with us via our website or the emails that we send out with the recording. We'll put in a link where you can submit some questions, and one of our team will be happy to get back to you. It's now my pleasure to introduce today's skills moderator, who is Madeleine Leaver, product marketing specialist on the team. I've worked with Madeleine for over 5 years now, and you're in some very safe and very knowledgeable hands. So over to you, Maddie.
Thank you so much, John. Hello, and welcome everyone to joining our very first skills session of Connect 24. As John said, it's so great to see so many of you here. If we haven't met, my name is Madeleine Leaver. I'm a product marketing specialist here at Artlogic, and I've had the pleasure of working with the Artlogic team and also John for just over 5 years now, with previous experience across both their client liaison team, working closely with our wonderful client base, and within the partnerships department, working alongside national and international art fairs and events. Prior to that, I also worked more directly in the gallery world itself as the manager of a contemporary art gallery. And galleries are the focus for today's session. At Artlogic, we know that the organization and management of your artwork inventory and contact CRM is vital to the efficiency and success of a gallery's everyday operations. However, we also understand that this may be just one part of the vital and very varied role of the gallery registrar. With offsite projects, art fairs, sales, logistics, exhibitions, consignments, and loans, the list goes on, all fighting for your attention at any given moment. And so in this session, I want to focus in on just a few tips and shortcuts to help you streamline your workflows and save you time on those simple tasks so you can get back to managing those bigger projects with ease. So with that, let's dive in. I'm going to share my screen with you guys. Hopefully that's all good. John, let me know if there's any issues, but if not, I'm going to kick off. So we're going to be starting off in the artwork section here. Typically by default, when you arrive in the artworks page, you'll be viewing it in this kind of classic list view. We've got our artworks listed on the left-hand side here, the preview panel on the right. But if you are a more kind of extensive user of Artlogic, you'll likely know that you can actually adjust and switch between the different layouts here with different kind of viewing options to suit the workflow that suits you best. However, what you might not have seen or may not have noticed is that you can actually use a series of keyboard shortcuts to navigate to these different views even faster, whether in the artwork section here or over in the contacts as well. So you'll notice beside each of these little layout options, we've also got this keyboard symbol and a corresponding number beside it. And these highlight those shortcuts for you. For example, you can see that we are currently in the list view here, number 1. But if I come out of there and I hit 2 on my keyboard, you can see I jump straight to the grid view there, which breaks out that list format and just gives us a really nice grid view of our inventory. If I hit 3 on my keyboard, I'm going to be taken through to the detail list, which is similar to the list, but just breaks it all out with bigger images, puts those at the forefront. If I hit 4 on my keyboard, that is the images view. This is really nice for lots of reasons. I feel like I've used this a couple of times before when, the inventory is really big on the system, and I can't for the life of me remember the name of that work, or it's an untitled work, but I know exactly what it looks like. I always find that the images view is useful for that, so I can kind of skim through and more easily locate that image. If I hit 5 on the keyboard, I'm going to be taken through to this really handy kind of set filter, which highlights not only the works themselves, but also breaks out these kind of key fields like status and availability, location, and price. So I can always whiz through any of those if that's something that I'm looking for with a particular workflow. If I hit 0 on the keyboard, I'm going to be taken through to slideshow mode, which is a particular favorite of mine, to be honest. It means that you can kind of create an instant presentation with your inventory, which I can then click through. I can see all of the details of that. I always think this is quite useful for if someone's come into the gallery, maybe unexpectedly, you haven't had time to put a presentation together. You can literally just use this keyboard shortcut here to kind of jump through some of those works. Now, a few sneaky little keyboard shortcuts that potentially aren't in that list. The first one is E. So if I'm hovering over an artwork already, let's go back to one to make this easier to see. If I'm hovering over an artwork already, usually to open up the artwork record itself, I need to hover around and try and find the little pencil edit icon. But actually, if I hit E on the keyboard, that's just going to open up the record for me even faster. So now I've got that open and I can do what I need to do. While we've got this record open, actually, let's look at a few things within an artwork record or even a contact record, which maybe can save us time or better work with our workflow that we're doing. So we've got loads of these little sub-tabs in here because this artwork is chock full of information about this artwork here. But there's so many that we've actually got this more drop down with even more little sub-tabs here. So I can easily choose website and drop that into there as well, which is really nice. But what you might not have seen is that you can actually drag and drop these little sub-navigations into an order that suits you. So I don't know, let's say I'm working on condition reports in particular, I can pull that up right to the front of my artwork. Maybe, sales pipeline, financial, those tabs together, images, maybe those are working together with that condition tab. So I can just sort these into an order that works best for me. And if I click out of this record actually and go into another one, those are going to be set now for me while I'm doing all of this work. So it's just a nice handy way to have those tabs that you're using first and the most up at the front there for you. What else have we got in here? We've got our website tab actually. This is an interesting one. You may not have seen this unless you have an integrated Artlogic website with your management system. So what this website tab allows me to do is actually send all of this information, all of this, nice, the artist, the title, medium, dimensions, all of this, maybe any documents that are attached, artist bios and things like that. I can actually send them directly through to my integrated website in a couple of clicks from my management system without having to switch tabs, without having to jump over to the website itself. So you can see this artwork in particular, I've shared through to my website there. So that tab is on. I can even preview it directly from my management account. So if I go into preview mode and I clicked on here, this button to kind of view it on the website, I can see exactly how it's going to look before I even put that artwork live, which is really handy. I've got lots of different kind of filters and options that I can choose in here. I can instantly add it to my store page. If I've got an online store page on my Artlogic website, I can just tick this tab, send it straight over there, adjust those price options as well. And any of the online sales details. So what this means is that I can just do it all in one place. It saves kind of that data entry or duplication of data. We know data entry is a never-ending task as it is, and our aim is to make that as efficient as possible for you guys wherever possible. So that integration between inventory and website is most definitely a way to quickly cut down on that double data entry, reducing the risk of kind of human error, and so hopefully getting you home sooner. Okay, let's go back to our artworks. Now, one of my particular favorite keyboard shortcuts actually is called safe mode. Now, I know that the majority of you guys tuning in here in this session are from galleries. And as we all know, not all desks in the gallery space are hidden away in an office with doors and a lot of privacy. In fact, quite frequently, they are positioned out within that gallery space itself. And this is where I think safe mode really comes in handy. So if I'm here and I've got some kind of details open and I hit H on the keyboard, you can see, I'm gonna kind of click and unclick a couple of times to see what's happening. But what it's doing is actually hiding sensitive information from my screen. So things like these important stars that maybe I've used to kind of rank different artworks that are in my inventory, pricing, all this pricing information, you can see that that just disappears. Any kind of status or important information at the top. See, we've got, yeah, okay. Oh, Bridget Jones has bought this work. So if I hit H on the keyboard while I've got that open, you can see that that's just going to hide that for me. So you can see how this is really useful in the gallery setting. If just someone's come up behind me in the gallery space, that's really useful there. I think it's also really useful at art fairs. You know, when you've got a lot of work to do and you're sitting on your management account with artworks going left, right, and center, you know, you're sat at that booth, probably on a very uncomfortable chair at a very visible desk, you know, and prospect buyers are all around and collectors all around. So without having to kind of slam my laptop shut or quickly find a tab that hasn't got sensitive information in, I can just use that H safe mode to just hide those things in a click. It's also worth noting from a kind of troubleshooting perspective, actually. If you notice that maybe your prices have disappeared, it may be that you've just done it accidentally yourself and you've been so stealthy that you've hidden them from yourself. So again, you can just bring that back just by hitting H again on the keyboard. So this isn't going to save you time with a specific workflow per se, but it might just save you from having to resolve a difficult conversation with someone who's maybe looked over your shoulder and seen something that you perhaps wish they hadn't. So one of my particular favorites. Now, our last two keyboard shortcuts before we move on to some other things. The first is S. If I hit S, it's just going to open up my search bar for me there, which is nice and handy. But more handy, I think, is the filter results that also pop up. So you can see I've got these kind of quick filter results. Maybe I'm looking for available artworks that are on consignment and that are paintings. I can just get those added up in a couple of clicks. And these are the kind of filters that I've chosen to use, but you can see at the bottom, we've got this customized section, and I can select from any of the fields within the artwork records. Or again, if you're doing this in the contact section, any from the contact records, and just pull them up and really customize this section for me and the way that I work with my workflows. So just a nice way to kind of use that. Last but not least, A on the keyboard. If I hit A, it's going to bring up this nice advanced search for me here. So you can see I've got all of these rules in here. I can put expert mode on, I can stack these rules. Advanced search is just a great way to have that, to stack those searches on top of each other. So maybe these shortcuts are only going to save you, a few seconds or a few minutes here and there, but as we all know, that all adds up, particularly when you've got a lot of work to do. And I mean, who doesn't love a shortcut? So I hope those come in handy for you guys. On the topic of searching, actually, while we've got this advanced search open, let's talk about that. We all know how a search bar works. You type in what you're looking for and it brings it up, hopefully. However, something you may not be aware of is actually the power of negative searching. So typically when you're searching somewhere like Google, you need to come up with the right combination of words to find what you're looking for. But with negative searching in Artlogic, you can actually search for what isn't there, it's missing. Let's take the example of preparation for an art fair. We know what should be included in the artworks that we're sending, but how can we maybe use this advanced search tool to find what is missing, any gaps in our data ahead of sending those artworks off across the world? So, I've got some questions in mind. Do all of these works have their condition report attached? Have their installation instructions been updated for that team on the ground that are going to be receiving them? Are the insurance details included? So I can use this negative searching to source any of these gaps in the data. Hopefully I'm not going to find anything, but the point is that I can check. So you can see we've already got the advanced search open. I was doing some work with these two artists. These are actually the artists that I'm taking to this fictitious fair. So now, expert mode on, let's add some rules and start doing some searching. So mentioned condition notes. Let's use that first, condition notes. And I've got a whole load of options that I can, kind of questions that I can ask it. I'm going to actually select is empty. So I want to know that if there's anything missing from this field. Add that in. Let's add another rule. Let's go to condition again, but this time maybe condition images. So rather than is true, I'm looking is false. Are those images, I want to know if they've not been attached to any of my records. Last but not least, that's for insured. We mentioned works being insured. So again, is false. I want to know if that hasn't been ticked, if there's information missing. So we've got that collection of artworks. Let's run that search. Okay, so we've got 6 artworks that have come up. So now I know that I can go into each of these artwork records here and just do a more thorough check of that data. So let's click in here and have a look. Let's go, maybe we want that condition tab. Yes. Okay, so we can see that potentially one of my colleagues in my fictitious gallery here has requested for a condition report to be attached to this artwork, but it hasn't been. And I've used that negative search to just find that out, dig that out, and now I can go ahead and action that before those works head off. So you can see that negative searching can really help to source and rectify any gaps in our data, what's left unticked, what's empty in our records. And when combined with all that detailed data that's been added, that just becomes a really powerful search tool. So let's leave behind searching for now. Let's move on to our next time-saving tip, which relates to a few different ways that you can actually group artworks together or records together in Artlogic and find them again at a later date. So I'm going to look for some artworks here. Now, one of the simplest and kind of quickest ways you can group artworks together in Artlogic is using these flags on the right hand side. So you can see I actually just used that just there. I've got a selection of artworks grouped, but you can see I can easily hold down flags, or I can kind of drag and drop and get a group together. And then I can use those action buttons at the bottom to create documents, create reports, sell or offer these artworks to someone else. And this is really great, really useful if this is a one-time search. But what if this is a group of records that I maybe need time and time again over the next few weeks? You know, things are going to be coming in at different times. I want to create a private views link that I can then share directly with my clients when they ask, but I'm waiting for a few more artworks first, so I can't do that yet, but I know I'm going to do it later in the week. I need this selection of works to send updates through to my app. While I'm at the fair, I want to print labels on this selection. I want to print fact sheets. I want to update location and shipping details. There's a lot that I want to do. So I know I'm going to need this selection again and again. And this is where the saved search functionality really comes in handy. So you can see just here, we've got the option to save that search. So let's imagine that this group that I've pulled together is the group that I want to do. So I'm going to click Save Search. It's going to bring this up for me. Let's give it a name. Let's call it Connect 24. We've got our group, and now I've got a couple of different options here. So I can save this search just for myself, which is great. It's attached to my user record. I can bring it up whenever I like. But one of the great things about Save Search is actually I can save this globally. And what this does is make it visible and accessible to my entire account, so any other users on my account. So not only does this save me time, but it also saves my colleagues time and effort and avoids duplicating any work. We all know we're looking at the same list and we're all working with the same artworks as well. So flagged records, yes. Current records, perfect. Great. Placing a search. I'm going to save that search there. And now, anytime that I want that search, I can kind of click into the search bar here, click Saved Search, and you can see that I've got that list there. I've got a couple of other different lists I can pull together. I can have as many saved searches as I like, but I can run that search and it'll always pull that group together for me. Another way of grouping artworks together in a more permanent list is by utilizing the artworks lists functionality. Now, anyone here who uses Artlogic a lot will probably already know about this. You can create artwork lists by going to Artworks, Artwork Lists. So you can see that I've got a couple of different ones that I've already made here. They're useful for lots of different things. I've made one to keep track of artworks that are on loan to my gallery. I've got an exhibition list. I've got a couple of art fairs ones as well. But what you might not have known is that you can see the list here. You can also pin the list to your management homepage. So you can see I've just flicked on that toggle there, and now I go back to my management homepage, you can see that it's just saved and pinned onto the homepage there, which is just really handy. I've got a couple of different lists here. You can actually pin up to 10 and feature 10 on your homepage here at any one time. You can also pin contact records. So you can see I've got a couple here, kind of get a few different people on speed dial if you like, and jump straight to their records with ease. And this is just a great way to kind of have the key lists that are coming up. Maybe it's an exhibition, maybe it's an art fair, just have those on your homepage. And not only does it make it easier to find, but having them grouped in this way actually means that you can perform actions on those artworks even quicker. So you can see if I click on this list, I've got the option to edit it, view the list, or view artworks. I view artworks now. You can see it's going to quickly pull that list together for me. And now I can perform all of those actions that I need to, whether it's, as I said, printing labels, creating documents, sending a private view, updating those artworks, whatever I need to do. It's just a great way to kind of get ahead of the game, get those artwork lists sorted, and then I can do whatever I need to do within the management system there. And that brings us to the end of today's session. Thank you so much for joining. I've really loved having you guys. Whether you are a long-standing client or it's your first time here, I hope you learned something new. I know it's a lot to take in, but don't worry, the session has been recorded, so you can always watch it back. And if you have any questions regarding anything we talked about today, please don't hesitate to get in touch with the team. As always, we absolutely love hearing from you.
Thank you so much, Madeleine. I always think I know everything about our platform, and then Madeleine puts together a session like this one, and I find out something new. So you can always learn something new every day. Thank you very much to everybody that has attended. If you do have time, please join our next panel, which is starting in just under 25 minutes, which is titled Under Pressure, How Small Galleries Compete with Large Enterprises. Our panel will explore what enables small dealers to really be agile and entrepreneurial in the face of adversity. So if you do have time, join us in 25 minutes. Once again, thank you, Madeleine. It is going to be available as a recording, so we'll send that out to you in the next couple of days. Thank you so much, everyone.